This is Daphne odora Aureomarginata, or winter blooming Daphne, and this is a variegated form. Has a yellow margin on the leaves, as you can see here. And this is its natural form. It has a nice soft rounded form to it. They can get as high as 8 to 10 feet tall apparently, and wide, but most of the ones I've ever seen in Northern California are probably 4 to 5 feet wide by about 3 to 4 feet tall. So what this is prized for is that little blossom you see there. These are winter blooming, as the common name says, and wow, what a fragrance. If you've ever been around these, you don't have to be very close to smell them, and it's a beautiful fragrance. Very, well, I'm not sure how to describe that, but a beautiful fragrance. What I like to do is pop the little flower heads off and float them in a bowl, bring them in the house during the winter when they're blooming. It's a great way to kind of savor those so that you don't have to be in the garden to enjoy them. And you can see how profuse this is when it is in bloom. So this is an evergreen shrub. It's hardy down to around 0 degrees Fahrenheit. And but a very odd and fickle plant, and anybody who has had it probably didn't have it for very long, and it's very hit or miss. And when I was researching it, my experience was typical. So what I mean by that is it can just shut down on you. You could have a plant live for 3 to 5 years and then walk out there one day and the whole thing's dead. So it gets a mold or root fungus, as I understand it, potentially. So good drainage and aeration around the crown of the plant and its roots is very important. They recommend you plant these high, kind of like you would a rhododendron, and especially if you have heavier soils. They just like good soil drainage and good aeration around the roots. These are like a rhododendron in that in hot areas they're going to want afternoon shade, and soil pH fairly neutral. And it says is if you want to fertilize these with an all-purpose fertilizer, do that after they've done their bloom. So this is one bloom, well, not in bloom right here, and then you also see the same plant in bloom, and kind of neglected under this maple tree here, and this is in Northern California, and gets very hot during the summer, so it can stand some heat. Even though it is, but it is shaded in the afternoon, this particular plant, and that's my experience with these, is they don't want to get the hottest part of the day, or you're probably going to have problems with them. So very prized for its fragrance, not that interesting otherwise. It's a nice form and it's a nice variegated plant, but if you can find a place and you happen to have kind of a woodlandy situation and the right soil type for this, I highly recommend it. It's one of the nicest surprises to walk out into the garden in February or March and smell this thing in bloom. Just amazing. Nothing quite like it in the garden that I've experienced. That's what I can tell you about Daphne odora Aureomarginata, winter blooming variegated Daphne. Enjoy.